NelsonJoypad.com bring you another original. It's fucking great.
In space, no one can hear you scream, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, in my living room, no one will sleep through mine. Now that was my thought while I was hiding under a desk as the alien prowled the dark, run-down office that I'd taken refuge in. But more importantly, and of considerably more consequence, the alien might hear me too. Alien Isolation is Creative Assembly's new entry into the Alien franchise, and many consider Sega's last hope for an Alien game. Now it's also the game that has made me the highest strung and quietest gaming journalist for quite some time. First, here's a little bit of background into the game. Alien Isolation isn't an Aliens game, and no matter how tempting it is, shouldn't be compared to last year's disastrous release of Aliens Colonial Marines. Yep, it's set in the same universe, but it's based on the works of Ridley Scott's original 1979 Alien, and not the action-packed sequel. There are no pulse rifles, smart guns, or badass marines in this game. The entirety of Alien Isolation is centred on survival. The best way to survive is to stay quiet, stay low, and stay out of aliens' way. You play as Amanda Ripley, Ellen Ripley's daughter. Now you're approached by Weyland-Yutani, who are looking for the Nostromo's flight recorder. That's the basis of the story. After a short tutorial aboard your transport ship, the Torrens, you're thrust into the environment of Sevastopol Station, owned by Seegson, a rival company to Weyland-Yutani, and into a world of fear, mistrust, and worse. To avoid spoilers, I won't be going into the story too much, but the storyline is good enough to fit its purpose, although it's not hard to guess where it's all going. A slightly predictable plot isn't that bad when it's attached to some of the most tense and borderline harrowing gameplay that I've ever experienced. Visually, Creative Assembly have done what many of us thought was impossible. They fulfilled their boast of staying true to the source material, and Sevastopol Station looks and feels exactly like the far future that we envisaged almost 40 years ago. Even the way the lights activate is brilliantly executed. Everything is delightfully retro. There's no Bluetooth, no touchscreen, and no convenient PDAs. You'll gain access to a hacking tool, which is used on certain doors when activating. You have to complete a short minigame. Now this sounds like it might be tiresome after a while, but there are a few different minigames, and when you're activating these, time doesn't stop. That means that even doing something as ordinary as opening a door, or even saving your game, can leave you open to attack. Character animations look slightly rigid during play, and early in the game I noticed that Ripley's character didn't have a shadow. Everything else does, and its absence does seem strange, especially in such a visually impressive world. The alien, however, looks great. Flowing movement, terrifying speed, and the ever-present knocks and scrapes of it moving through the air ducts around you really showcase the lethality of the xenomorph. The retro feel of the game doesn't stop at the equipment available. Terminals emit a slight green glow and require loading before use. Generators need to be cranked before they activate, and levers on door need to be pulled with QuickTime events that require more than a simple press X to save world. Even the loading screens have been made in the style of an old VHS, with grainy pictures and tape burn. It really is a phenomenally true vision of the Alien universe, and I for one applaud the effort Creative Assemblies have put in that really makes it feel authentic. Alien Isolation isn't what I could describe as fun. Now let me expand on that. I'm not saying that this is a bad game, far from it. It's just it's far too tense to be considered a positive experience. From the second the alien is first revealed in a typical blink and you'll miss it cutscene, the tension doesn't let up. There aren't really any peaks or troughs in Alien Isolation. No matter where you are or what you're doing, the alien could drop in from any vent. For a lot of the game, the alien won't even be visible, but he's there. Any confrontation between you and the other survivors or the working Joe synthetics that man the station can attract the xenomorph in an instant. During my playthrough I was pinned down by 4 less than friendly survivors. My health was low and I only had 2 rounds for my revolver. I heard the leader of the group advancing towards me and I had nowhere to run. Just as he rounded the corner of the box that I was hiding behind, he turned and I saw the alien. The xenomorph skewered him before charging at his men. Moments like this, and the game is full of them, had my pulse racing, my head spinning, and my hands shaking. It never lets up. To add to the immersion, if you play on the Xbox One, the version that I reviewed, you have the option to use Kinect. The first option is for the camera to track your movements for the leaning mechanic. Now this was something I was doing without even realising. The other, and this one was by far my favourite, was initialising the microphone on the Kinect. So any sounds that you make in the real world transfer over to the game and can alert the enemies. I lack the eloquence to fully explain how enthralling this mechanic is, and the psychological effect playing this way had on me. Victory against the humans or working Joes aren't celebrated. There's no exclamation of superiority or even sighs of relief. It's a unique experience, one that probably won't be for everyone, but one that I think we should all try at least once. That's why I say it's not fun. It's punishing and it's unrelenting, but it's fantastically rewarding. To help you survive, you'll find items, a handful of weapons and crafting supplies. The weapons, a revolver, shotgun and flamethrower, may sound like Alien Isolation turns into an average shooter. It doesn't, not even close. While the alien can be scared away with a well-thrown Molotov cocktail or a careful blast of the flamethrower, it'll come back, and it comes back angry. At no point did I have enough ammo to even attempt a stand-up fight. Other items like flares, noisemakers and flashbangs can be used to distract the alien. The weapons and items can be used against human players, but as I mentioned earlier, noise from gunshots or items can attract even more attention than you bargained for. Even the noise from your motion tracker can attract enemies to your possession. There were a couple of glitches that forced me to reset in the early stages of the game, but by and large the gameplay is bug free and runs very well. My only real complaint is that Alien Isolation was just too damn long. Now I cleared the game in about 18 hours, and at around the 10-hour mark, I'd had enough. At 12 I was tired, and at 14 hours I was begging for it to stop. It was like a one-night stand that just never left. For the first half of the game, you have to simply survive. Get to your friends and try not to die. That's really about it. And around halfway through, Creative Assembly took the decision to try and implement a plot. Now 8 hours into a game, in my opinion, is too late to start introducing plot lines, and it dragged the entire game down. It's a strange complaint, there's too much gameplay in this game, but I honestly think that less would have been more. Other than the brilliant visuals and the authentically lo-fi sci-fi feel, unbelievably tense and engaging gameplay, we have the music. It's fantastic. It was scored to be fully adaptive and reactive to what's happening in the game. Quiet moments in the score can explode into action as the alien drops to the floor in front of you. As with everything else in the game, it's clear that Creative Assembly have gone through a lot of thought and effort to give horror and Alien fans the game that they've been waiting for. I think there are many players that won't like Alien Isolation. It is oppressive, overly tense, overly long, and punishingly unforgiving. There's no run and gun bullcrap, no witty taglines as someone gets blown away. What you have is a brilliantly visualised motion tracker, excellently involved QTEs, music that is worthy of an award, stunning visuals, gameplay that rewards patience, planning, and a terrifying insta-kill alien. I loved Alien Isolation for the first 10 hours or so. The gameplay is unrelenting, unique, and really captured me with the complexity of what is basically a game of cat and mouse. The voice acting is a little on the dull side, but the minute-to-minute gameplay is amazing. The freedom of how you want to approach situations makes this already methodical horror game even more tactical. The inclusion of Kinect features add an entirely new dimension to what I consider to be the best Alien game we have ever seen. But the second half of the game felt unnecessary. It dragged what was a brilliant game down to the point where I just wished it was over. There are so many false starts for the end cutscene too. I lost count at the amount of times I thought, well, this has to be the end, only to be proven wrong seconds later. As far as horror games go, overall, this one's up there. Alien Isolation is everything that I had hoped it would be. It looks amazing and has a score that has been composed and implemented to scale with the action of the game. The alien is an always present threat, and the tension of the game never lets up. It is a true accomplishment in the horror franchise. The game fell down with a few glitches and a story arc that seemed to be implemented too late that makes the entire game feel like it lingers past its welcome. Overall, it's a great game, but after the first 10 hours, the mantra, "Are we there yet?" has never been more apt.
Cargo and ship destroyed. I should reach the frontier in about 6 weeks. With a little luck, the network will pick me up. This is Ripley. Last survivor of the Nostromo. Signing off.